Hello and welcome back to the final live stream here from Plymouth Pavilions. It's In Conversation with live at the Devon Business Show 2023, brought to you by the Devon and Plymouth Chamber of Commerce. My name is Paul Philpott. I'm from Fresh Air Studios. I really just
He's had a long day. He's had a long day. We can forgive him. It's been a very long day.
I really could do with a glass of wine.
Yeah, I think that's about to come. We're over at the Moxie from 3:30 for exhibitors.
Who do you think's going to pack all this stuff up?
Oh, Martin, he volunteered. He'll be fine.
Did he? Oh, yeah, you volunteered. Let me introduce you to our final guest of the day. We've got the Chief Executive of the Devon and Plymouth Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Stuart Elford.
Hello.
And I suppose we could say you're the Chamber's number 2.
You can't say that.
I've been called many things, Paul. You can call me that if you like.
He's finally lost it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking over now while he recovers his composure.
I'm part of the senior leadership team.
Claire Baker.
Number 2.
Who is a membership experience manager.
That's me.
So, Claire, tell us about your business. That's another joke. Sorry. Right, okay, let's bring it back to the script. So, Stuart.
Script. There's a script. You didn't tell me about it.
Right, so another show done. And pretty much dusted.
I cannot believe how quickly it's gone. It's been absolutely amazing. There's been an incredible buzz in the room. I'm not just saying this to butter up because she's sat next to me, but because of all the work that's gone into it, I didn't have a single worry before it, and that's the first time that's happened, where I just walked into the room and thought, this is going to be great. In fact, last night, I sent a message to the team saying, because of all the work you've done, I just know tomorrow's going to be great. I just knew it was going to be brilliant, and it has been. So all credit to Claire especially. I know she'll say it's a teamwork, and it is a teamwork. Yeah. Kelly's done an immense amount of work. Kirsty, Will, Olivia, Charlotte, Helen, Nick,
Kyra.
And Kyra. Yeah, I always forget Kyra. They really have, as a team, all done an amazing job. But what a result, before breakfast this morning I had a card from someone who wanted to work with the Chamber on Net Zero. I mean, it was just one of those days where everybody was buzzing, everything was happening. So, wow, what a day.
Claire, it takes a lot of planning behind the scenes for events like this. And events like this still have a really important place in the business calendar. Why so?
I think people have really missed meeting in person, and I've had a number of people say to me today how lovely it is to be able to see so many people that they know and don't know in the same room at the same time. You can feel the buzz in the room, and somebody else also said, I've met people that I've only ever met online today, and I've met loads of them in one room. It's just been brilliant.
I'll tell you what I've liked about today as well. It was a really diverse mix of people, diverse businesses, diverse people, younger people. The people I'd not met, Claire knows more people than I do because she's membership manager. But
she's got more friends than you have. That's why.
Well, that's true of most things. But no, in all seriousness, there were loads of businesses I've not met before, and I've really enjoyed meeting them, hearing about their business. I really hope it's been successful for them. And what I'm hearing is great. I'm hearing that people are actually doing the work. So great,
And I think you did touch on just now, businesses of all sizes. That's a really good thing for an event like this, isn't it?
It really is, and that's one of the reasons that we changed the timing as well from 10 till 3, because if you are running your own business and you're running the show on your own, having a full day is a really, really long day. As it is, it's quite intense, keeping up that energy level for the whole day. But if you're a sole trader, you can still come down and you've got 10 till 3. You can do that. You can smile for that long, and you can be stood next to or on a stand next to a global business that you may never have met in any other way. And we've actually had quite a really, really good number of attendees as well this year. So yes. People who don't have a stand, who have just come down, and that includes again all ages, who've just come along. And I think part of that might be our lovely bus.
Yes,
the Chamber
bus.
Hey, genuinely got to say thank you to Plymouth City Bus. I mean, fantastic. So we had a Chamber branded bus. I told Olivia, who's featured on the side of the bus, one of our team, that I was in a meeting.
Not on the back of the bus.
And behind, no,
on the side of the bus.
I was in a meeting with Jackie Grubb at City College, who are one of our headline sponsors. And she went past on by the window. I just saw a huge Olivia's head going past the window. It was just really bizarre. But it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
What a buzz.
And when you touched on it just now, you've got people having conversations. One of the very reasons why people join a chamber is to make connections and discover new connections that they wouldn't otherwise have discovered, and also the opportunity to experience knowledge sharing as well. Has that happened within this environment?
Definitely, without a doubt. That's our strapline, is connect, grow, succeed, and that's what we help businesses do. But yeah, I've made introductions. I've had people come up and say, can you introduce me to so-and-so? It's just fantastic. And what an environment to do it in. And as Claire said, we've had footfall as well, so not just exhibitors. Sometimes at these shows, the exhibitors are kind of exhibiting to each other, which is fine. It's great to be doing business with the people on the stand next to you, but to have this large footfall coming through was also brilliant.
A lot of hard work goes into actually for the exhibitors putting their stands together as well. I was talking to Westcott's, who are very kindly our podcast sponsor, and really, really engaged with everything that the chamber does. And they were telling us about the conversation they had behind the scenes about what they should wear as a team. And they kind of thought, right, we don't want to go to this particular event in the typical obvious suited booted kind of thing. We need to think about how we come across, how we represent our brand, what kind of brand persona we have. Those considerations are probably more important when you're having an event in person. And do you think that since we moved online and we got to see people's living rooms, their bedrooms, when they were having those Zoom meetings, do you think we've become, and I think quite rightly so if the answer is yes, a bit softer in the way we brand ourselves personally and as businesses?
Definitely. I am wearing a tie. I very rarely wear a tie now.
Yes, you've actually polished up for the...
Well, I tried. I thought I ought to make the effort today. Yeah. But no, seriously, I rarely wear a tie. I think people are more casually dressed. There's more of understanding that it's more than a suit and tie. There has to be a bit more substance to it. We spoke to people on the podcast earlier who said, why is it important to meet in person? Well, we're all social animals. You can do business online, but the best business is done when you meet someone, you like them, you trust them, you look them in the eye, you shake their hand, you have a coffee with them in this area behind us, and then you can continue that business online. But I think that first introduction is really important. Although some funny things did come out of online. I remember one of our own directors, I don't think he was a director at the time, but he received an award at an award ceremony online, because we had to run it online because it was COVID, and he was wearing a dinner jacket and bow tie and everything, and he accepted his award, stood up, turned around, he was wearing Bermuda shorts. And we put on an event it wasn't actually our event, but we operated the technology for a very big conference. I won't say who they were because it'd be indiscreet, but they had 120 odd guests on this conference, and they were about to cut to a guy to speak, and he didn't realise he was on mic, and his wife walked in behind him wearing nothing but a towel. And he turned around and remonstrated with her in no uncertain terms, at which point he looked forward, looked down, realised he wasn't on mute, and the look of horror on his face, and all that was in the chat was him apologising over and over again, Yeah. So, some funny stuff came out of it, but we are social animals. We just want to meet, don't we? Want to shake hands.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to meet people in person. And indeed, Claire, you wouldn't turn somebody away if they did come up to the business show in just a towel. Would you? You meet a lot of people in your job. You get to communicate with a lot of businesses. What kind of pains are the business community facing at the moment, and how is the Chamber working towards fixing and helping solve those issues?
We've really noticed at the moment that people are really starting to feel the pinch of what was the cost of living crisis post-pandemic, and businesses are really, really looking hard at what they spend their money on and what kind of return on investment that they get. And so we've been working equally hard and hopefully even harder to make sure that we can deliver on that, so that for every pound that they put in, that they're going to get more back. And that's both in value and cost savings. And actually we've had some of our benefit providers with us today. So we've had Coraline Health and WPA, we've had our Quest Business Services have been here, we've had Barclaycard who give people discounts off their payment services, we've also had Swoop Finance Finder. So it's just another way of finding out all the ways that you can really maximise the benefit of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, which is, starts with those conversations and those connections, but actually there's some real tangible commercial value behind it as well.
Stuart, the strategic aspects of the Chamber?
Yeah, so you've seen there's been some public sector here. The Resurgam, what was the Resurgam Charter, now the Plymouth Charter, sponsored our breakfast this morning because they want to meet business and properly interact with them. We've worked with, you've seen we've had 3 universities here, we've had the colleges here. So skills being so critical to business at the moment. So we've engaged across the board, and what I'm really pleased with is the diversity of size and sector. But yeah, it positions us strategically, and we had, all the town chambers here. Well, I say all of them, a whole host of town chambers here, including Exeter Chamber, with whom we have a fantastic relationship, and we're spreading our wings more and more to be truly representing the whole of the county and beyond. So yeah, good stuff.
And that's another myth. It's kind of like people forget about, or maybe they don't know about the work that goes on behind the scenes of an organisation like the Devon and Plymouth Chamber of Commerce, the conversations that the Chamber has and the seat it has at tables of power, I suppose one could say. You're listening to the feedback of the business community within the West Country, and you're quite literally taking that feedback and those comments to the people where it matters.
Absolutely. So funnily enough, I had one at breakfast this morning. I sat next to a business who've exhibited here. They work in making marine engines more environmentally friendly and more efficient. But they were telling me about an issue about what is or isn't recognised by government or by industry as technology that is acceptable. So there's a sticking point in why businesses aren't incentivised to do what they can and use their technology. We've swapped cards. He's emailing me tomorrow with the argument for the change going directly to British Chambers of Commerce in London. I will be submitting that to them. I'll be submitting it to their Net Zero group, and their policy team at British Chambers will feed that straight into government, because I don't think government want to stop these things. I don't know, sometimes they're aware that their policies are inadvertently stopping things. So we do a lot of policy and advocacy work, lots of stuff like that, persuading government to change policy. We do a lot of work locally and regionally representing business to make sure that the local authorities listen to the voice of business and think it's important. So,
We had the Bank of England here today as well, actually.
I'm glad you remembered that. Yeah, and in fact they did a podcast, didn't they, with
yes.
Diversity Business Incubators. So we work with them to make sure that we're properly representing the community. So yeah, there's lots of strategy that goes on behind.
So Claire, what's it like being part of the Chamber family in terms of a Chamber member? You speak to members, you get feedback all the time. What is it like, and why should people join?
Well, most people join because they want more people to know what their business does, what services they provide, to make new connections. So at the very core, what we do is help businesses be visible and find their audience. But actually, I think it's good that you mentioned the word Chamber family, because we do feel very much like a family. People also want to feel part of something. They want people to genuinely understand them as a person as well as their business. And some of the most meaningful connections actually are, some of the more varied events. So, for example, we've done net swimming this time for the first time this year. So you talk about different ways of meeting people. We've been meeting people who've been in in wetsuits and swimming costumes, and actually you get to know people in a different way and more depth. So that's where some real brilliant connections have been made there too. So. It's helping people raise their brand and making them feel part of something, because it's difficult being in business. It can feel lonely, it can feel isolating, and just knowing that there's a community around you of people. Somebody knows the answer, somebody can be your next client, somebody can be the next person who can help you, somebody can unlock a problem, and somebody can spark an idea that could be your next great adventure.
Stuart?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not Stuart's the idea.
Yeah, I am one big adventure to work with.
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely about belonging, and we've had discussions about people who network, but also I'd say that peer support is really, really important. So, it's proven that if you've got a good peer network around you, you do better in business, and it's proven that if you are a member of the Devon Chamber of Commerce, you are 3.5 times more likely to survive and thrive in business than if you're not. I mean, that's no coincidence. It's because you've got that great support network, and it's not just the Chamber itself, it's the other members of the Chamber family. There's always someone we can be introduced to, and it's not always about the cold hard cash. There's lots of here, I'm going to use them as an example, not just because they support this podcast and we really appreciate that, but Westcott's, frequently they'll just have a chat with someone, give them general business advice, and they want to build long-term meaningful relationships. It's not about let me start the clock and charge you. And environments like this, and environments like the Chamber, you can do that. Very hard to ring a lawyer and accountant out the blue and just say, can I come have some free advice? But when you're meeting them and you're sat next to them at a dinner, a lunch, a breakfast club, whatever, and you just say, can I just ask your thoughts on this? And that sort of relationship is invaluable.
And indeed, if members are too nervous to do that themselves, I'm sure they can engage with Claire and your team in order to act as a facilitator for that.
Absolutely, and we try and make sure that people make the best use of their time as well as their money. So I always encourage members to let me know who it is that they want to connect with, and I can make sure that I can point them in the right direction for the right events to be able to do that, the right sectors to talk to, and make suggestions about introductions, and where necessary make personal introductions as well.
Marvellous. Right, I think that just about does it. You did
Nearly.
very
Go
on.
One last mention.
Go on.
So, this has been 2023. What about 2024?
Oh, yeah, actually, yes, there's two things that you've kind of discussed.
Yeah.
So,
Announced.
thing number one.
Thing number one, let's do the business show. So, thing number one being the business show, we have found an amazing venue that isn't traditionally thought of as a sort of conference show venue. I say we, Claire has found. And when she told me, I thought, okay, I sort of get it, but let me go and have a look. And we were absolutely blown away. Plymouth Life Centre has a sports hall that is 40% bigger than the hall here. It's got conference rooms, yoga studios, a studio we can do the podcast in. It's got loading bays, parking. It'll be on all the bus routes. It'll be easier access for everyone. The hall itself has 3 big separate entrances with loading outside. We've got Plymouth Argyle next door where we can host the breakfast. We could potentially have cars outside on the car park and get all the automotive industry involved. So really, really excited about that. So that's, remind me of the dates.
October the 16th, 2024.
Thank you, Claire. I'm glad you know. 16th of October 2024. And we're really, really excited to partner with Plymouth Active Leisure on that.
Fantastic.
So that's the big announcement I was really excited to get out, and I've been dying to tell everyone because I'm really excited about it. We can make the whole of 2024, I think, is going to be, I say, loosely themed around people. So we've got people, planet, purpose as our key priorities, and that will, I think, stay the same. But on the people side, at the Life Centre, they'll open up all their facilities to people, health and well-being, rock climbing, bouldering, yoga,
So it
swimming.
literally is going to be come to the business show and make the day of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be bring your gym kit, bring your cosy.
Yeah. And try not to get the things confused. Obviously, there's an order in which, well, who cares?
Who cares? We're all very casual.
Friendly.
We're very friendly. And also, coming up in 2024, you have another great initiative that you're launching.
Yeah, which was helped by you. Thank you, Paul. I mean, we did a podcast at Fresh Air Studios. We had 3 charities on the podcast, and it wasn't scripted or designed this way, but they were talking to each other, going, but we can help you with that, and we should have worked with you on that, and look what we could have done together. And afterwards, they said to me, you need a chamber charity group. Well, in fact, when I was interviewed for the job, I remember saying we need something to represent the third sector, and it was just one of those things that's been harder and harder to do. But in early 2024, we'll be launching a chamber charity group for all our members. We've got, I think, about 29, 30 charity members, something like that.
I think it's 33.
Is it 33 now? Yeah. So, and they want to share best practice. They want to share their challenges. They want to collaborate. They realise that the bit they're in competition with is a little bit around the edges, and we just won't go there. But we'll do the bit in the middle. So I'm really excited about that, and that will be meaningful for them to work with each other, but also to engage more widely with the business community.
That's going to be a really good example of the chamber in action.
Yeah.
I can see great things coming from that.
I love it.
Absolutely fantastic. Claire, is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off from today's event?
A huge thank you to you and your team at Fresh Air. You've been amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know
Thank you
how
very
you're
much.
still talking.
Thank you to Mark, who's our engineer and
Thank you,
technician
Mark.
producer, and also to Martin Burgess-Moon, who's our
Thank you,
producer.
Martin.
Martin's sat down. He's done
He's
6,000
exhausted.
steps in one room.
I bet.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And thank you to everyone who's come. Thank you to our exhibitors. We really, really hope you've enjoyed it. It's super important to me and all of the chamber team that we give value wherever we do any business with anyone. And I hope that's happened today. If they're happy, I'm happy, and the team have been incredible. And as Stuart said, I am going to say it's a team effort. We've had a meeting every single week, 4 months, with everyone contributing, everyone reminding me what I've forgotten, and everyone making suggestions, and it's just been brilliant.
Claire's been brilliant.
I'm going to say also on behalf of the board, obviously VC of the board, I can talk on their behalf. I'm sure.
Are you the number
just to
2?
say, I am the.
He's a big number 2, I have to tell you.
I am. There's 2 number 2s. So I just want to say thank you very much for all the work that you put into, both of you, into everything that the Chamber does, especially events like this, but not just events like this, everything that the Chamber does in order to support its membership and support the wider business community across the region. It really, really, really is excellent work, so thank you.
Thank you. We love it.
They do indeed, and that's it. We're all going to go home, well actually via the nearest wine bar. I'm sure you're going to do the same, aren't you? Yeah. You have been watching In Conversation with live at the Devon Business Show from the Devon and Plymouth Chamber of Commerce. My name is Paul Philpott. Thank you to my team, as we've just said, at Fresh Air Studios for making this event possible, and see you next year.
Wonderful.